You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Monday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Monday morning is not as good as Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s, but, we're here.
Did you not wake up to a $500 million contract offer this morning?
That is crazy. 14 years, $500 million. I think it's the second largest contract in MLB history behind that Juan Soto guy on the Mets.
Right, because there's the Shohei Ohtani contract is also massive, but then you get into I'm not sure what it means, but deferred payments and stuff apparently brings the value down, and Guerrero's not getting that, so he just gets that fat money, which is insane. Although, did you see that the whole thing is contingent on him passing a physical? Which means that there's a doctor in Toronto that could do the funniest thing ever.
He's got to lay off the Uncrustables, no more A&W for Vladdy as well.
That would be tough, man. I feel like, imagine corporate walked in here right now and was like, boys, we love the show.
You gotta lose some weight.
We love the podcast. We want to lock you in for 15 years or whatever, right? Guaranteed money, guaranteed contracts. I feel like it would be really hard to keep up the level of I want to do this and I want to do it well.
Thankfully, we don't have anything in our contracts like that, but I would love it if Jackie came in here this morning and was like, boys, you got to lose some weight. I would be getting so much money in return with that HR file.
I mean, to be honest, I'd just be happy if she came in and offered us some Uncrustables.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We got to talk about something huge that happened yesterday.
To force it to him if he's open. Here is Ovechkin. Shoots. He scores! He scores! Number 895!
Ovechkin did it. He beat Gretzky, man.
So cool, man. It's so funny because 2 months ago we were talking about man, it's going to be crazy at the beginning of next season if he comes back.
I didn't think he was going to do it this year, man. I got to eat my words, but I will say it was in Ovechkin fashion. He said he didn't want to score on an empty net, which I respect, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, to get that far, and obviously there are empty net goals in that 895, but not the last one.
I did think it was funny that they stopped down the game and kind of had a little ceremony for him. And
it's got to be tough. If you're a Capital, if you're a player on Ovechkin's team, you're pumped. This is your guy.
If you're on the Islanders, though,
dude,
oh my
it's gonna
God.
be so tough. I see them out there stick tapping, and they're just this could have happened.
They were winning, too. So the best part was he gave props to the goalie that he scored on.
Thank you, Lester Rockin, to let me score 895. I love you.
Do you hear what he said?
895?
Conspiracy theory. He said, thanks for letting me score. Oh, the fix is in.
Now, here's the thing, is after the game, too, there's a video going around. Ilya Sorokin, the goalie for the Islanders, he asked him if he could have his stick.
The stick that he did not stop the puck with?
Yeah. And they took a picture and everything, and I was like, is that an honor or does that sting,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know too many people who are rocking Ilya Sorokin merchandise. The idea that your most famous stick is going to be on the wall of the guy who scored on you.
Technically, you're a huge part of history, but you're only going to be known, unless Sorokin wins a Stanley Cup, a Vezina or something.
Sure.
He's always just going to be the guy that let the record goal in.
That's his trivia question, right?
He's going to be a trivia question forever. He's
the answer to who was the 895th goal scored against. Meanwhile, his stick is hanging on the wall like a hunter mounting the head of a deer in Ovechkin's basement den.
And it's weird, too, because people are celebrating Sorokin now for letting the goal go in. I think it's one of the only times that someone's been celebrated for not doing their job.
Right, yeah. For a failure to complete their task, there everybody's like, well done, that's awesome.
I've watched a lot of terrible Leaf goalies over the years, and I've never been stoked that they didn't save a goal.
I think the only other time that fans cheer for a goalie to let goals in is if your team is actively trying to tank for a draft pick.
Sure.
It's oh yeah, we're getting smoked tonight.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What's a rare occurrence where we celebrate someone for not doing their job or pulling a Sorokin, as we're calling it now? We got Patrick on the phone. You got a good example?
It was a weatherman. He's always wrong, but we always cheer for him.
Only when he's wrong in the right direction, though. Like, if he says it's going to rain and you go outside and it's sunny, you're like, that weather guy's all right by me.
I do night shift at the HSN, and frickin', I've been waiting for the snow all night, and finally it comes.
Nothing like a Sorokin weatherman, you know?
Oh, exactly.
Sorokins. That's what we're calling it from now on, you know?
The poor guy who let in $8.95 against Alexander Ovechkin and will be lauded for that time he was bad at being a goalie.
It's like when you go through the drive-thru and at the first window they don't ask you to pay and you're like, okay.
All right.
And you just pull on to the second one and you get your food for free. That's pulling a Sorokin.
They just hand you the bag and you look back at the person in the front window and go, thank you for not caring enough about this job to have asked me for my money.
Yeah. Exactly. Stuff like that. Or when you speed past a cop, you're ripping it and then you don't see the cherries light up.
Yeah, or even better, they give you just a little, the slow down flash that lets you know, I see you, and I could, but I don't want to. It's too much paper.
I'm on my Sorokin stuff this morning.
Just slow down, please. That's a good one.
When you're going through a festival and the security's really lazy and you're able to sneak in all your fun supplies.
Right. Yeah, you see, you got that one guy, 3 lines over, and he's bag checking, pat downs. He's intense.
Yeah.
And your guy's already kind of 3 sheets himself. Yeah, just go in, man. You're cool.
Or when you were underage and you knew that you could get into a bar because the securities were a bunch of Sorokins and they didn't check ID.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you right now, I feel statute of limitations is up. The guy who worked at the liquor store at Hay River, Northwest Territories when I was 16 was a super Sorokin.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Your good friends over at ChatGPT are apparently bleeding money.
Oh, good.
They've got this new image software that can not only scan images you put in, but can put them back out stylized into different cartoons and animation styles.
Okay.
You can basically use AI like Photoshop now. It can go in and fix things in your pictures, and people are using it at a rate no one expected, and it's apparently costing them billions of dollars to keep up.
I hope the company goes bankrupt.
Well, I thought I would use this new imaging software that ChatGPT has. I wanted to see if it could tell what was in a picture and react to it. So I took a picture of the two of us from when we went to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in Toronto, and I asked it to roast you.
Oh.
Yeah, not us, just you.
Oh.
I don't have the self-esteem for it, but I thought you can handle it.
All right, well, let's see what AI's got then.
So this is just a picture of Brock. We're standing on the catwalk at the Leafs arena there, and he's just wearing a Brock and Dalby show hoodie and a Blue Jays hat, and we're just posing. And it says, your smile screams, my mom says I'm the funny one.
That's not that good. That's not that good.
Says, and wearing that hat is interesting because no one is picking you to play for the Jays.
That's weak sauce, dude. That's all AI's got. Come on, give me more.
Says, you look like you just won a contest to hang out with a radio guy.
Because I'm with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It gave you the little brother treatment on that one. It says, rocking that hoodie like you printed it yourself in homeroom.
I did. I did make that sweater myself.
Also says you're throwing up gang signs like the gang's called Mild Anxiety.
What am I doing, throwing up the Rock On song?
Yeah, I think you're just putting the horns up.
I'm a little disappointed in AI here. I'm not going to lie. I was expecting more from AI.
It did give me some lookalikes that I thought were kind of interesting.
All
Says
right.
you look like Aaron Carter if someone hit him with a chair.
Well, first off, rest in peace to Aaron Carter.
Says you look like the understudy for Eminem's character at a community theater version of 8 Mile.
Okay, that one. That one's actually pretty good.
You look like the backup DJ for LMFAO who doesn't get called very often.
Yo, what a reference.
You look like if Jesse Pinkman gave up meth and got really into Funko Pops.
Okay. That one's a little bit rude.
And one more, it says, you look like the guy at every arcade that says, yo, I almost beat the high score last week.
Screw AI, man.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
All right, Dalby had AI roast me this morning.
Some kind of weak bars, but by the end, I feel like ChatGPT really found its stride.
It got personal.
It got really after you.
It most definitely got personal, and I figured if AI is just roasting people, I'm going to try and roast AI this morning then.
Ooh, you fighting back?
I mean, I would personally give AI 2 thumbs up for those roast attempts, but they're usually used to having like 7 thumbs, so stupid robot.
The sound effect.
You may be called AI, but you'll never be as good as Allen Iverson. I said it.
Shout out to Allen Iverson, baby.
Calling AI smart is like calling a toaster a chef.
To be fair, some of those toasters are pretty fancy now.
That is true. That is true. That is true. At least I have a real family.
I'll go one further. You've got 2.
Yeah, you'll never know what it's like to have your parents get divorced and have 2 Christmases.
Suck it, ChatGPT.
AI, you're like a prostitute. You get used by people and nobody actually loves you.
Oh!
Got 2 words for you, AI. Suck it. But you can't. You can't.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
As pro-Canadian patriotism is at an all-time high in this country, saw a story about a bar in Toronto that's looking to capitalize on it. They are rebranding themselves. They used to be a bar about space, but now they're going to be Grizzly Bar. Keep calm and Canadian on. Proudly powered by Putin and patriotism.
Like in Gremlins 2, the Canadian restaurant?
Yeah. And it got me thinking about, like, what kind of drinks would you serve at an all-Canadian patriotic bar?
Well, I mean, obviously, Caesar's just on tap.
Caesar's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's half the drink menu. And then I thought, like, you would have to have some specialty cocktails.
Named after Canadians?
Well, that's what I would think. I would assume. Apparently, when this was a space bar, they had a drink named after Chris Hadfield. So what other Canadians could we come up with? Maybe we could give them some drink ideas for their new menu.
Like the Tom Green, it's just the White Russian, but it's with the freshest milk you've ever had in your entire life.
Yes. Do a Mike Myers drink to like encapsulate all his different roles. I mean, he's super pro-Canada right now on SNL and stuff.
Yeah.
You
Elbows
could
up.
do like a Canadian Club whiskey with like a little President's Choice ginger ale, a little splash of limeade for some Shrek green in there. And put it all in a Labatt Blue pint glass.
That sounds awful. But, what about, you remember the time John Chrétien got like the pie in the face?
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking you just have like something strong that has whipped cream on top and you call it the Chrétien.
The Chrétien diver?
Yeah, something that's going to make you slur your words at the end of it, you know?
Do one for Red Green, Canadian Icon, where it's like some Ironworks rum and a little cran and lime, little drizzle of maple syrup on there. So you've got the green and the red.
Nice.
Serve it in an old tin camping cup covered in duct tape.
Yeah, the duct tape is key for sure.
Have to have duct tape on the handle.
You have the John Players. It's like any of those whiskey drinks that they smoke up with the wood there.
Yeah. Except instead of the wood, it's just a lit dart.
Yeah, it's a butt. Yeah. They just throw a butt in the bottom of your whiskey.
Ooh, you got to have a Terry Fox drink in there. Maybe some because he was from BC originally, so get some Okanagan brandy or something like that. Get like a little Newfoundland cider mixed in there, a little maple, little lemon. Put it in a mason jar.
Yeah.
Call it the Foxtrot.
Get you hobbling a bit there.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you want to do something with BC, why don't we just have a drink called the Vancouver Riots? It's just an Irish car bomb, but if you can figure out how to get it on fire on the top there.
And then everybody just starts throwing hands.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast. $1,000 minutes.
All right, we have got our first contestant for $1,000 minute on the line here. Brandon, how you doing this morning, brother?
Pretty good. How about you?
We're doing all right. Would you consider yourself a smart man, Brandon?
So.
Smart enough is really what we're looking for here, because you're going to get 10 questions of varying difficulties. You got 1 minute to answer all 10 of those questions. You go 10 for 10, Brandon. You're walking away with $1,000 today.
That would be awesome.
All right, you understand how everything works? You ready to get going here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll count you in from 3 to 1, and we will start the timer, and you just answer the questions as best you can. All right, my man?
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. What is the main ingredient in guacamole?
Avocado.
Which planet is known as the blue planet?
Pluto.
What is 15 divided by 3?
5.
What is the only planet that rotates on its side?
Pass. I don't know.
What animal's milk is pink?
Pass. I don't know.
Before Doug Ford, who was the last premier of Ontario?
Harper.
In what year did the Berlin Wall fall?
No clue.
As of yesterday, how many goals does Alex Ovechkin have?
895.
What is the largest bone in the human body?
The tibia.
What is the capital of Mexico City?
Mexico City. Yeah. Pass. Don't know.
I gotta give away the answer on that.
You kind of read that one. Yeah. Luckily, it didn't really matter by the time we got to there.
You're not getting $1,000 this morning, my friend.
So you did get a couple right.
Okay, cool.
Literally a couple. But we asked what planet is known as the blue planet. You said Pluto. It's Earth, my brother. It's where we live.
I had the pressure. It was the pressure.
Only planet that rotates on its side, that was Uranus. What animal's milk is pink? The hippopotamus, apparently.
Wow.
Also, you thought that Stephen Harper was the former premier of Ontario. He was, in fact, the Prime Minister of Canada. We were looking for Kathleen Wynne, and the Berlin Wall fell in 1989.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Also, largest bone in the human body is femur. So,
the femur.
Unfortunately, not only did you not win $1,000, but Brock,
hate to do it to you. You get the shame.
I knew it was coming.
Tough start.
That's okay.
Hey, well, you know what? You got to show everyone how the game works, all right, Brandon?
Yeah, and how tough it actually is.
This was a worst-case scenario. It can only get up from here.
I hope so. Good luck to the next guys.
Yeah, take care, Brandon. Have a good day.
Thanks.
All right, you got another chance to play at 110 in 510 today, all right? All you got to do is just try and answer the questions, all right?
That's all it is. You can see where he started to get frustrated and kind of started to fall apart. You got to keep your composure, because you got to be doing one question every 6 seconds.
Sometimes being a bad example is a good example for the rest of us,
This can only help everyone else.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
There was a guy caught outside of Vaughan, Ontario, going 262 kilometers an hour this weekend. He's facing stunt charges, also impaired charges as well.
Well, you kind of would have to be a little bit impaired, I feel like, to drive 262 kilometers on a Canadian highway.
He was on that open stretch just down from like Canada's Wonderland on the 427 there is where he got caught.
That was the real thrill ride for a little bit there.
Yeah, that's the real Italian job ride.
Behind the wheel of that damn car.
262 kilometers an hour. The crazy thing is his license is only suspended for 90 days and then the vehicle's impounded for 14 days.
I have to imagine he's going to catch a few charges on the end of this thing, though.
That is crazy speeds, man. You know what? That's not even the fastest speeding ticket in Ontario. The fastest speeding ticket in Ontario was back in 2020. There was that kid, if you remember, that got caught going 303 down the 401.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Dude, 200 just seems like a mythical number to me. 262, I would feel like I was about to travel through time. 300 kilometers an hour doesn't feel real.
I think the fastest I've ever got the Chevy Trax going up to is maybe 155.
155? Okay, I beat that by a little bit.
What's the fastest you've ever gone?
I used to have an old Mazda 6, and I was driving. This was when I lived in Edmonton. I was driving to Banff for a Christmas party, and I was just on a big open stretch of highway, was talking with the people in my car, wasn't really paying attention till the person in the back seat went, "Are you doing 190 right now?"
Damn.
My brother, when I tell you I slowed down very quickly, oh my God, I panicked myself.
Would you say it was a Mazda?
It was a Mazda that was doing 192.
Talk about zoom, dude.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What is the fastest you've ever gone in a car before?
210 kilometers an hour.
Where were you driving?
I was driving in Germany between Stuttgart and Munich.
Oh, is that on the Autobahn then?
Yeah, it was. But 190 was the sweet spot for a cruise.
To other people, you were probably still going slow.
Yeah, I got passed by a couple pretty nice German cars.
That's insane.
Crazy to think that 190 puts you in the right lane.
Yeah, it's pretty good. 190 was a good spot to set the cruise for, but just guys flying past you doing like 240 probably.
How tight was your butthole ripping down the Autobahn?
It was pretty terrifying because I was in this like rental. It was kind of shaking when it got up to 200.
What kind of car was it?
Some like cheap Jeep thing. I don't even know what it was. It wasn't a good car, that's for sure.
I was really hoping you were going to say like a Corolla or something.
Some real dusty.
I wish it was something like a Corolla. It probably would have got a little faster.
Hey, well, thanks for chatting with us, man.
Love the show.
Thanks, man.
We got a lot of people texting in at 762-555 on how fast they've ripped it in their mom's minivans before.
That's the thing, right? Is like a lot of people, if you grew up in a bigger family, the first vehicle you drove was probably a big old people hauler.
Well, and when you're young, all you want to do is rip it, right?
I want to get out and go fast. I want to see what this thing can do in my Aerostar.
Few people getting their Dodge Caravans up to 185, which is crazy.
That's wild. That's like the sliding doors start to peel back at that point.
The crazy thing is I Googled it. I was curious. During a Formula One race, they say the average car goes around 200 to 225 kilometers per hour.
So this dude on the Ontario Highway doing 262 was faster than an F1 driver.
Yeah.
That's probably a good sign you should slow down.
Dude, even if you think about it, planes, the average speed for a plane is around 550 miles an hour.
That's wild.
Which, that's so fast, but when you're in the sky, it feels so slow at the same point.
Well, that's just it, because you're being hauled along at 550 miles an hour along with the plane, so you don't really notice it until things start to get shaky.
The other weird thing is all these people admitting to speeding on the text line here at 762-555. How come I still get stuck in traffic?
Yeah, if everyone's going this fast, how do I still end up behind two people doing 10 under the speed limit on a 2-lane road going side by side?
This is the Brock and Dalby podcast.
You know those BuzzFeed quizzes that are so much fun? Yeah, that's not what this is. It's the quiz with Brock and Dalby.
After getting 100% on the quiz last week, let's see if you can come together and do it again here, as today's theme is songs with "come" in the title.
Okay, yeah, a pretty common word used in a fair number of songs that we play right here on the station.
There's a lot of songs with "come" in them, yeah. I'm going to give you the band, as always, and you need to give me the song with "come" in the title.
So you give the band, I have the song title. That's how this works.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Okay, songs with "come" in the title.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
When I say Nirvana, you would say?
Come As You Are. Also, Nirvana, just to be clear.
1 for 1, but we can agree to disagree on how you pronounce a band's name. That's not the quiz.
You're a monster.
All right, 1 for 1 here. When I say the Beatles, you would say?
Come Together.
There we go.
Yeah.
2 for 2. Look
Here
at you.
we go.
Coming along here. When I say Green Day, you would say? Nothing? Come on.
I'm locked. Oh, is it Come On?
No.
No.
When I come around.
That sucks.
I was going to say something about riding 6 white horses and see if that triggered anything for you.
Yeah.
But, all right, okay. We're 2 for 3 right now. You better get this one. When I say Sticks.
Sticks is...
Sticks.
Yeah, he's just saying it again doesn't make it better.
Come on, man.
All I can think of is Mr. Roboto. And
No,
that's
nothing?
Not it. Hang on. Come Sail Away. Woo!
I was going to say, you love the Eric Cartman version.
I was going to
of
say,
this song.
you're only mad at me because you're a South Park fan. It's the only reason you were disappointed I didn't get it faster.
3 for 4 on the quiz here. Let's keep it going. When I say Bush, you would say?
I don't have the Bush one, though.
No, when you think of Bush, nothing comes to mind?
No, the only thing I think of is Machine Head.
Come down.
Oh, Come Down. Great song. I often forget it exists.
You're coming down from that 100% cloud from last week, that's
I'm
for
still
sure.
over 500. Thank you very much.
All right, final one here to wrap it up. When I say Tom Petty, you would say?
Tom Petty is Tom Petty, classic Tom Petty
Come
song.
on.
Loving Tom Petty, big fan of Tom Petty.
Nothing?
Why? It's the answer is so obvious that I just go. No, I don't know. Oh,
Don't come around here no more.
yeah, it's all right.
Which, keep these quizzes up. Don't be coming around here no more, dude.
I went 3 for 3. Sorry, 3 and 3. That's still 500.
All right.
I've done worse.
You happy when your kids get 50% on their tests at school?
Depends on which kid.
The Brock and Dalby podcast.
The Brock and Dalby podcast.
Ovechkin officially passed Wayne Gretzky 894 goals for the all-time record.
Very cool to see him hit 895, and honestly, because it just felt like when Gretzky set that record, all the talking heads were like, well, that's a record that'll stand the test of time. No one will ever beat that. And then even when Ovechkin was getting close, everybody was like, well, maybe one day, but like not for a long time. And then all of a sudden he just had it. He went on this crazy run of improbability, and now he is the new record holder.
I was curious because they say that, at least in North America, kids playing hockey have a 1 in 4,000 chance of making the NHL.
Right.
So I looked it up. They say that if you do make the NHL, you have a 75% chance of scoring at least one goal.
Right, yeah. 1 goal or more.
Which is pretty good odds, although when you look at the stats, there are over 400 players who have at least scored 1 goal. There are 1,900 people that have played in the National Hockey League that have never scored a goal in their life.
Meanwhile, there are goalies with more than one. That's got to be tough.
That's got to be so frustrating to know Martin Brodeur has 3 goals and you got nothing.
Hey, or you're even in the 1 goal club. You're like, one day I'll catch up to this goaltender.
Yeah.
It's such an unlikely thing. Like, I mean, if it's 75%, 4,000, it's like something like 1 in 5 or 6,000 to make the NHL and have the lasting impact to score a goal. Meanwhile, this guy scored 895, which is, I mean, statistically as improbable as Tim Hortons toasting your bagel properly on the first try.
It's funny because this is a record that everybody's talking about. A record that nobody talks about is how Alan Peterson has the most consecutive games without scoring a goal.
How many?
273 consecutive games without potting one in there.
That's got to be such a rough stretch of time because at some point, that's like 4 seasons in there. At some point, your teammates are going to notice. And hockey,
yes, they do.
Hockey is a chirpy sport. Every single time you're out on the ice, somebody from either team is going to say something.
Oh, yeah.
About your 270-game streak.
It's like working a job for like 10 years and never getting a raise.
Which goalie feels worse at the end of the day? The Sorokin guy that gave up 895 for Ovechkin? Or whatever the goalie was that finally gave up the 270
for old Alan Peterson?
That's got to feel like a bummer.
I think that one's way worse.
This is the Brock and Dalby podcast.
Ed's word of the day. Let's see what he's got.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, today's word is trifling. Not trifling. Trifling.
Nope.
Trifling.
Trifling?
Yep.
And it's lacking serious worth or frivolous.
Frivolous.
I got a couple pairs of boxers like that, actually. Probably get rid of them. So anyways, that is what does it. Have a great one. Cheers, you're up.
Man's got trifling gitch.
Trifling, not trifling.
No, yeah, it's definitely trifling, which I feel like, if I'm being honest, growing up in a certain generation, I think I first heard the word in like Destiny's Child music videos back in the day. Trifling, good for nothing type of brother.
Trifling's used in a lot of like old country music too, I feel like. I think trifling is like, when someone's just like jibber jabbering about nothing, like you're actually trying to confront someone about something and they're just beating around the bush. They trifling.
It's just worthless behavior. You see somebody out there doing just dumb things, you're like, why are you trifling like this?
When your kids come home from school and they tell you a pointless ass story? That's trifling, dude.
You can't tell your kids that they're trifling, but they can be trifling.
You can't tell your wife she's trifling either when she's talking about her problems, but sometimes that's trifling.
At the end of the day, this might be one of those ones you always tell people, use it where you can today. Be very careful about how you trifle today.
Trifling. Just don't say it to your spouse, all right?
Want to be a part of the podcast?
Leave a message on the bad line.
The bad line is the answering machine for the Brock and Dalby Show.
To get the number, text the word bad to 762-555.
Thanks for listening to the Brock and Dalby podcast.